providing numerous special interest programs reaching over 100,000 viewers per week. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, executive producer of Hub Radio Phoenix. We don't pretend to be journalists, but we're not afraid to say what's on our minds. We thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Hub Radio Phoenix. Stay tuned, stay faithful, as the best is yet to come.
Hey everybody, Pasta Jardula from the Combo Couch, and when I'm in Phoenix, I listen to Hub Radio Phoenix.
Pasta, you know you can listen to them anywhere. They're on the internet.
Hub Radio Phoenix is awesome. Only my second favorite show to the Combo Couch.
Fake news and leftist commentary have left listeners looking for the truthful news, reasonable analysis, and real-life solutions to America's complex issues. Sound like an impossible task? Well, it's not. There's something new, honesty in reporting, something exciting, something that is cutting edge. Fighting Back is a Hub Radio production that takes a deep dive into the murky world of unbridled state, local, national, and international political intrigue. And of course, Fighting Back also has a softer side. Tune in every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Google Hub Radio Phoenix, click on the link, and then click on Video Live to be inspired by new perspectives on daily issues. Fighting Back, clarifying the confusion of 21st century mayhem.
Hi, I'm Martha Llamas and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
Welcome to Fighting Back. Current events, news talk, and political commentary. Now here's your host, Ron Lutter.
Hey, look, it's just the two of us. Welcome to the show tonight. I've been told that I should move the microphone down because people don't know that my lips are actually moving. They think Ray is doing some ventriloquist work for me.
I am.
And this is Ray Michaels.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, we're missing the bald one here today.
Yes, this is our Wednesday Fighting Back show, and we always have Josh Bernstein on from JoshBernsteinUncensored.com.
Well, he's on assignment tonight, but he's as close as your phone. But before we start, I just wanted to say, Ray, we are so thankful. We've got some great sponsors here, and we'd encourage all of you to use those sponsors. I know if you're watching in other parts of the nation, and we hope you are, and we know you are, you can't very well use some of our sponsors, but I'd sure like to think that one of them is a national company, as you know, and you can utilize them, and we'd encourage you to do that. Now, Ray, we have had a lot of people talking about everything in the world that's going on, and it's not good. We've called for the president, the Pino. What's Pino again?
That's a president in name only.
That's right, Pino, the Pino, president in name only, Biden, and of course we're not real happy with him. And I noticed that as he goes around, he looks like somebody that's totally lost. He's got people in front of him pointing which way to go. Have you noticed that?
Almost like he's at Disneyland.
Yeah, like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I saw some pictures of him trying to kiss some little kids.
Now remember, he was walking in one direction. He pointed over to the right, and I'm thinking, what is it? And then they increased the volume, and somebody yelled out, "Squirrel!" And he started moving in that direction.
Listen, folks, this is not a comedy hour, but I would appreciate a laugh track. Do you have a laugh track?
Why not? Why can't it be a comedy hour?
Neil, do you have a laugh track there?
Boy, no. to watch what's going on.
Okay.
If you don't laugh, you're going to start crying. That's for sure.
That's true. Listen, we want to thank you all for joining us tonight, and we'd like to encourage you to pass our programs on to other people. They're valuable. A lot of them are time sensitive, but they're always good to go back and see what's been going on. We'd like you to like the show, and especially we'd like you to follow the show. And it's really important that you do that you subscribe. We want to get these numbers up because certain magic things happen if you can get the numbers up to some high numbers locally.
Does the rabbit come out of the hat?
The rabbit pops out of the hat. And what was that? Is that the squirrel?
No, I think that was Josh laughing.
It was Josh. Okay. So, at any rate, we'd encourage you to follow us. And above all, we have some people that comment every week, and we get a kick out of reading your comments. And some of them are very serious. I know I've got a couple that I need to answer on a very serious note, and I will be doing that tomorrow. So, kind of pardon us. I've had a damaged wing here, as you know, Ray.
You have. How is your arm?
Well, it's been better. I'm going to start some new physical therapy.
Will you be able to throw out the opening pitch?
The opening pitch at the Chicago Cubs game.
You'll do better than Fauci. I know you will.
Well, I don't know where first base is, so that's. I guess the audience was amazed.
That was an O.
That was
from
an
the
O.
audience,
Oh.
yeah.
So, at any rate, lots going on, and we want to talk a little bit about California, Dr. Fauci. We want to talk about our Attorney General and some good work that's being done there on the behalf of the people of the state of Arizona. Audit materials should be coming in any day now, and there's lots and lots of lawsuits that are being brought forward. But before we go do anything, let's see where on earth is Josh Bernstein. Josh, are you there?
I am here. I am absolutely here.
Okay.
I'm glad to be joining you. Unfortunately, not sitting next to you, but I will be next week. And I wanted to start with this. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies by giving those enemies aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or imprisonment and shall be incapable of holding any office in the United States. Now, why did I start with that? Well, it's pretty clear that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Maoist Mark Milley, is treasonous for what he has done. And I'm going to keep it PG for the show here.
Well,
But
excuse
basically-
me, Josh. For the audience, we've described the penalty for what he has done, but tell us what he has done.
I'm going to right now.
Thank you, sir.
According to transcripts of two phone calls, one took place on October 30th, 2020, before the election, and one took place on January 8th, 2021, 2 days after what was supposed to be a peaceful rally, which was then infiltrated by the FBI and Capitol Police on January 6th. He made two phone calls without telling President Trump, without telling Christopher Miller, who was the Secretary of Defense at that time, interim. And basically, this is the worst insubordination we've ever seen. But more than that, it's worse than that. It's actually treason, because he had a conversation with his counterpart. His name is General Lee. And this is exactly
That wasn't
verbatim.
Robert. It wasn't Robert E. Lee.
It wasn't Robert E. Lee. Nope. These are the exact words that were spoken on this transcript, according to Bob Woodward, who's a pretty well-known author who's done lots of books on presidents and presidential candidates and all that stuff. And so he has now confirmed that he's actually said this. But this is verbatim what was said. General Lee, I want to assure you that the American government is stable and everything is going to be okay. We are not going to attack or conduct any kinetic operations against you. Then he goes on to say, General Lee, you and I have known each other for well over 5 years now. If we were going to attack, I would call you ahead of time, so it would never be a surprise.
Whoa.
Right there is U.S. Code 182381, which is what I read to begin with, which is treason. He should be charged with treason. He should be court-martialed, and he's obviously should be resigning immediately. I don't understand where the Republicans are. When are they going to start with the hearings and all that stuff to try to get him under oath so that he's under oath? And in case he lies, then you can add a perjury charge on top of that. But apparently he's proud of it, because he's already said and confirmed that, yes, indeed, he did this. We have got to hold him accountable, or in the future, God forbid, more and more generals will disobey the executives and the president.
Well, Ray, if I'm not mistaken, he's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the president.
Yes,
of
this
the
is a
United
major
States.
deal.
Josh, some of these things that happen here, and we hear about them, and people are doing things and nobody's standing up, and it just seems as though a lot of these rules, these regulations, these orders that are given to us by the Constitution, that we should follow certain manners to have the Republican form of government, the republic that we have. And people are just saying, yeah, I know it says that, but yeah, I don't know, it's okay. We can forgive them. They probably had a bad day. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Where are the rules? Where are people following the rules? It's almost like we've become a laissez-faire type of government where we just let things pass. And it's like, well, you know what? It wasn't that bad. We can forgive them, brush it under the rug, and it'll be fine.
Well, again, this is the two-tier justice system that we have been living under for the last, I don't know, probably 6 to 8 years, if not even longer than that, where if you're a conservative and you do something, I mean, you could jaywalk and they'd throw you in prison.
Well, they hold you to the fire.
You can have the Joint Chiefs of Staff literally conduct a treasonous act of insubordination and then telepath to our enemies, which again is aiding and abetting our enemies, letting them know what's going to happen beforehand if it was to happen.
Amazing.
This guy needs to be strung up by you-know-whats, and he needs to be held accountable for what he has done. So if I was to tell anyone anything, if you're a patriot in this country, which I'm sure you are and you're watching this show, contact your member of Congress and demand that they do an immediate investigation into this, bring him in front of Congress, and I think the military ought to court-martial him immediately. He should be stripped of every single one of his medals. He should be stripped of his retirement and his pension, and I'd like to tell you where he could shove those medals, but I'll leave it at that.
And he can sleep under a bridge with about 37 other ones.
He could sleep under a bridge with the rats, as far as I'm concerned.
So Josh, you have in front of you the actual transcripts of those calls.
I don't have the actual transcripts, but I have what was been reported that were his exact words. And again, this is from the Washington Post, so you can't say that this is a right-wing conspiracy hit piece. This is coming from the Washington Posterior. They're about as left-wing as it gets. And so this is what he has said. And again, this was excerpts from a new book called Peril. Not that I'm trying to plug Bob Woodward or anything, but his new book is called Peril. And, this is the information that he has. Well, obviously, Maoist Mark Milley has been quiet, but just today he confirmed. He confirmed that,
I was just going to say that. I heard that the Pentagon had, in fact, confirmed that he had made this phone call. I agree with you. I don't know where the Republicans are. There are only a few of them that seem to ever get upset and do the hard questions that need to be done. But this is beyond the pale. And I would imagine, or at least think, that the American people would be just petrified over the fact that this man has gone around. And I understand there's some other things in terms of nullifying President Trump's ability to carry the suitcase, the nuclear codes, that he had his staff officers swear allegiance to him and not to the Constitution, and that if there was anything that was the least bit suspect that Donald Trump might order a nuclear strike, which they try to make the guy look like he's a bumbling idiot, like the guy that's in there is a bumbling idiot. And
well, first off, that was a made-up deep state hit piece saying that he was going to do a nuclear strike, but also that he even told people, to ignore certain people. That was all garbage. That's not been true. What is true is that this is just another deep state hit piece, because if you remember, and this was reported from CNN, Nancy Pelosi, said that she spoke to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, who assured her that there were, quote, safeguards in place to prevent President Trump from ordering a nuclear strike, okay? Now, the bottom line is he can't just do that right off the bat anyway, okay? There are safeguards and protocols involved with that, including with the military. But more importantly, this was another scare tactic after January 6th and they're trying to say that he was unhinged. Well, this means that Nancy Pelosi was in on it. So when Milley then said that there's been safeguards put up, there was no safeguards. You know what those safeguards were? Basically, the fact that he got down on his hands and knees and told his counterpart in China that if anything happens, I'll let you know first. You call that a safeguard? That's not a safeguard. That's a treasonous act.
Treason, yes.
So now, would you, because I heard those same reports about Speaker Pelosi, is she now involved in this? I mean, is it appropriate to have a conversation between the Speaker and the Joint Chiefs of Staff with regard to the information that they talked about? Is that appropriate?
It is not appropriate. As a matter of fact, they have nothing to do with one another. One is the Speaker of the House. The other one is the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Why are they even having these conversations?
And
that would be number one.
The Joint Chiefs report to the President, directly to the President.
Correct.
Not to the Congress.
Ron, where does the
Right.
Secretary of State come in on something like this?
Well, I believe Mark Esper was also involved in this.
He was the Esper was. I'm trying to remember what he was at the time. Go ahead. What was his position at the time? I'm trying to remember whether it was defense.
You're breaking up there a little bit, Josh.
I think he was the Defense Secretary.
Yeah, I believe he was. This is very troubling, and once again, I haven't heard any reaction from the White House, and this has been confirmed.
No, they're praising him.
This has been
praising
confirmed.
him.
Yeah, he said
They're going around on CNN and MSLSD, and they're going, "Oh, he should be honored. What an honorable thing that he's done, and he's an incredible person, and he'll go down in history as one of the great Joint Chiefs." Are you kidding me?
Wow.
This guy
he's a
should be
traitor.
flawed
Yeah.
immediately.
You know, it's the same thing that happened with Comey as well. You know, people were praising him for making decisions and for coming out. Oh, we're not going to go against Hillary Clinton. You know, no reasonable person would prosecute, considering the information we have. And it just seems as though it's that same. We come back to the same thing, Ron. It's a two-tier justice system. If you get to a certain point, you can do no wrong.
Well, you know,
you're forgiven.
You know, one of the things I did want to mention is going on this weekend is the little subject that we talk about, and that's January 6th. There's a big rally at the nation's capital, and that is about the people that kind of got caught up in this quote-unquote insurrection that the FBI and the CIA were instrumental in. And, you know, Ray, they're going to be there this weekend. And right now, Pelosi has asked the Pentagon if they would send troops there to help them to control the mobs, which I don't understand what part of the First Amendment is controllable by military personnel. But the bottom line, Ray, in terms of dual justice, we see things such as with the shaman going into the Capitol and saying that he was trespassing, when we have videos that clearly show the police officers opening the door for them and letting them in. How could they be trespassing when they're asked to come in?
Yeah, so were they asked to leave? Because I remember them standing in the room and taking a few minutes to pray, and the police were participating.
Police were praying as well.
Right.
So they weren't throwing them out or asking them to leave. And so this is the justice system. These people were exercising their First Amendment right of free speech and to petition the Congress for grievances.
Exactly.
And they were thrown in jail, and yet this guy has created, and I agree with you, this is treasonous, and everybody goes, the powers that be, what a wonderful man. This is wonderful. He stopped the nuclear. No. They're trying to make Trump look bad is what they're trying to do. Trump was not an idiot. He wasn't going to push the button. And he can't do, as you said, he can't do that alone. There's a protocol you go through. It's not just hand me the suitcase and push a button. It's not that easy.
Right.
Look, we already have, 500 something that wall likely not.
Hey, Josh,
full
you're
representation.
breaking up.
a
If
little
you're
bit.
moving, if you're
Okay, here,
moving
hang on.
around.
Let me see if I go somewhere else.
So
Let
we're
me
on the
see.
phone with
We
Josh
got-
Bernstein from joshbernsteinuncensored.com. Stop
And
by
he is
there.
on assignment.
How's that? Is that better, guys?
That
That's
is
better.
a lot better.
Okay, perfect. So
Do you have your tinfoil hat on right now?
Yeah, right. So the January 6th draft, you have a bunch of patriots that
Well,
are
we're
locked
having
up
we're
right
having
now.
some trouble again.
We have our patriots that are already locked up, and a lot of them are stuck in solitary confinement. They've been beaten. They've been treated horribly. The last thing we need is more people to be put into that situation. So what I have heard from Roger Stone and some other peoples is the only people that are going to be down there for that rally are going to be federal agents. They all are saying that this thing is a major trap. So anyone that's thinking of going, you may want to think twice, or you may want to really think about it. And as I've said before, if we're going to go back down to Washington again, it's not going to be a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand. It's going to be by the millions. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff going on as well. We just had the Secretary of State Blinken appear in front of Congress. When I say appear in front of Congress, I'm talking about telephonically or video. He didn't want to go the few blocks to actually go in front of Congress.
Yes,
Josh, I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Oh, I thought it was just atrocious. Number one, he lied. He said there was less than 100 people there. Most estimates are a minimum of 500 to as many as 2,500 to 5,000 Americans still stranded in Talibanistan. That's number one. Number two, you're right. He didn't even have the common courtesy to go down to Congress, and instead he kind of phoned it in, and he lied. Again, that's the thing. He lied. How are these people allowed to lie to Congress and not be held accountable? I mean, Dr. Fauci, for instance, lied about not funding the Wuhan lab right to Rand Paul's face, and yet nothing's happening because these are the consequences of a stolen election. And when you have a coup, which now we know clearly was a coup, it was a military coup led by Maoist Milley. This was a military coup to steal the votes and to keep Trump from being in office. It's as plain as day.
Well, I have witnessed this over the years. You can go all the way back to Tammany Hall and that where there was the dual system. But, as a child, and we've all been there, I used to think that these things happen only in third world countries, Ray. That
Yeah.
you don't see this kind of thievery, conniving, and so forth in America, that we do things the proper way. And this is really, as an older person, I think, how could I have been so blind when I was a young person?
Well, when you think of our founding fathers, Josh, they said that
Yes.
we're willing to give up our life, our fortune, and our sacred honor. They believed that their honor, their integrity was sacred, and they would not even think about lying or cheating or stealing or committing treason or doing any of these things. Now it seems as though it's commonplace. Well, yeah, I made a mistake. Forgive me. I'm just glad that we have redemption and grace, and this is, I just made a mistake. I mean, we have people that were doing crazy things on network TV while they're meeting, and they're doing things, and they're still not fired. We have people who are lying and cheating and helping another politician advance a sibling, and they're still on television. It seems as though, yeah. But they hold the other side very accountable for things that maybe was a slip of the tongue, that they didn't even intend to do it. The intention wasn't there, and the motive wasn't there, and the heart wasn't there, but they still say, well, you have to do this. But they're not looking at themselves. Where's the personal accountability, a personal liability? Where is that, Ron?
I was watching this afternoon Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, and they had a lady that was testifying there. She was going to become a federal judge. I'm not sure of her first name. Her last name was Sung, S-U-N-G, Chinese. And he asked her a question. She had made some comments about Gorsuch when he was being going through and being
Nominated.
questioned by the United States Senate, and she said he was totally incapable of being a judge. And Kennedy asked her about that, and she refused to answer. He asked her again. His whole 5 minutes, he must have asked her 10 times, and she said, "Well," she says, "that was only in writing, and I thought it was a closed letter that would not become public." Well, as you know, funny things happen about closed letters that are supposed to become public.
Well, integrity is what happens when no one's looking.
Exactly,
So-
Ray. And this woman, she never did answer the question, and Kennedy just ripped her apart. And I hope they do not take this lady and make her a federal judge, because the prejudices and so forth, and the lying that she did. And all she said, "Well, I didn't write the letter. I only signed it." Well, does that make it any less?
It's as if it's implied that you agree with everything
Yes,
there
this-
because you put your name on it.
Right. It doesn't make it any less caustic that you weren't the one that penned the letter. I mean, the Declaration of Independence wasn't penned by all the signers, but by their name on there. It's implied that they agreed with the document.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have this two-tier justice system, and the Constitution is only followed by one half and not the other. And, you not just this lady, what about that thing that's the Assistant Secretary of Health, in which Rand Paul was questioning it, talking about how, why are you going to give, puberty blockers for pubescent children and things like that, and it wouldn't answer the question either. So none of them seem to do that. It's like they can just skate through and get confirmed, because a lot of times they get confirmed because of rhino establishment Republicans like Lindsey Graham, who, by the way, is secretly making sure that Biden's judges are going on the courts. Meanwhile, nobody else is doing it. It's just Lindsey Grahamnesty, as I like to call him.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
Lindsey-
And that's why I keep saying it's the Globalcratic Party of Washington versus us.
Now, didn't Lindsey Graham say, "Well, I've never not voted for any president or any presidential nominee that has come in front of me. I've never voted for any against any of them." I mean, he stated that. So
Well, I know, but that's not an excuse.
Well,
that's
no,
stupidity.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, why is he even there? If he's going to vote
what's
yes
the point?
every time, why sit in front of Congress?
We could have had a greeter at Walmart do it. I
right?
agree.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Well, Josh, tell you what, let's once again tell our audience to start making some phone calls. This general needs to resign or be fired. And, of course, the challenge is that the president that should be resigning or being impeached, or the 25th Amendment being held against him, will not do this. And as you said, they're going around and trying to bolster this man. But
They're calling him a hero instead of a zero.
Let's get the American public behind this. Now, I'd like to change the subject for a minute to something Ray and I discussed, and then we'll go on to the California election. I think you had some words on that as well. But the one thing that Ray and I are really quite pleased with is that our Attorney General, Mark Brnovich, has filed a lawsuit against this crazy mandate that the federal government has come up with about people requiring that you get a vaccine if you're going to be working in a company with
Right.
100.
Josh, before you start, let's just backtrack. Okay, so we have, for the very first time in history, the President of the United States looking at the American people and saying, "We've been patient, but our patience is growing thin. We've done everything for you. We've tested it. We've certified it. It's now approved by the FDA, and it's free. Why aren't you doing this? Our patience is growing thin." And
Mainly because we don't trust who's certifying it.
Well, yeah, I looked at the television. And I thought, who the heck is this guy talking to me like this? It doesn't matter. According to HIPAA regulations, I don't have to disclose anything to you. I don't have to tell you what my medical preference is, or what what I've had done, or what diseases I have. I don't have any, but it's amazing that they've taken this with a 99.9 success rate, and they've made this into something so huge that they're now saying it's not about your individual freedom. No, this is about
they actually said
public
And
health.
those were the exact words, as Josh just said. It's not about your freedom. The heck, it's
Actually,
not about
it
my
is.
freedom.
It's everything.
Actually, it is about our individual freedom. And I'll tell you right now, they can't do this, and I can prove that they can't do it based on the language that's already been spoken. You notice he said that they're going to mandate any business that has over 100 employees, that they mandate that they take the vaccine. Or, a right big giant OR, or testing. Now, why did they say that? Because they can't mandate it. They don't have the power in the Constitution or the executive or anything else to mandate this. So what is this ultimately? This is scare tactics and fear tactics trying to bully, basically, American businesses to go along with what they want done. But you know what they should do? American businesses that have more than 100 people that are on the books, guess what? You should fire the vaccinated and fire your Democrats and get underneath 100 employees, and then you can tell the government to go kiss it. Because now there's no mandate, there's no nothing, there's no policy at that point. Who knows? Maybe that's what's going to happen here.
So, Ron, what is your understanding of the OSHA regulation that he is saying that he's basing this mandating vaccine and or testing on?
Well, I'm sorry, Ray. I don't understand it. He has no mandate. There is none.
Well, according to OSHA, and this is where Jen Psaki also said, it's based on what Congress has passed. They passed OSHA in, 1960, Josh, what was it, 63, 67?
I don't remember what year.
Right, yeah,
Anyway,
the 60s.
they passed OSHA, and under OSHA, it says if there is an emergency situation that affects a workplace, that they can have a type of emergency authorization to bring something forward. So they're saying that because of this pandemic that is 99.678, whatever it is,
More
success
people die
rate,
of the flu now.
that is such an emergency that OSHA can step in under the guise of Congress has given them the power that they can step in and on an emergency basis that he can decree this, because he knows from an executive standpoint you cannot, from a congressional standpoint you cannot, from a judicial standpoint you cannot. But as he used the CDC to extend the moratorium on renters, he's now he's utilizing OSHA to have this, so he can fall back and say, well, look, this wasn't me. I just asked them to do it, and I've washed my hands of this. I was just doing what I thought was right according to what OSHA said. So anyway, your question to Josh was, how do you feel about all this stuff that's gone in now? Here in the state of Arizona, our Attorney General has now placed a lawsuit against the Biden administration for this particular emergency authorization.
And I understand there's going to be about 27 other states that do the same.
Yes.
Now, the thing that bothers me about this whole thing is the emergency issues that they're talking about. I don't know what the trigger mechanism there is, but in reality, remember Mahatma Gandhi and civil disobedience? Now, right here in Phoenix, we have now some hospitals that are not opening up their maternity rooms because they don't have nurses. Now, they're telling a lot of these nurses that you've got to get vaccine. These are the same people, Ray, that worked through the worst of the pandemic last year.
I know.
They sacrificed. They worked 12, 15 hours a day to try to save people's lives, and they were heroes. Now they're bums.
And this is the thanks they get.
They're absolute bums because they won't get a vaccine. Now, even further than this, Ray, I'm reading now there's a hospital up, I'm not sure where it is, that something like 40% of the nursing staff's going to walk out. They're saying we're not going to get it, and if you're going to fire us, Now they're talking about, and this is what I would tell everybody: do not quit your job.
Yeah.
Just report in. If they tell you you're no longer needed, wait till you get the papers that say you are fired.
Yeah.
Then they have to pay unemployment compensation. But if you quit, you don't. So
well, and also you may have a legal standing with wrongful termination.
that's right.
All right. So, Josh, everybody says CDC, right? Center for Disease Control. They forget the last two words that are the whole title. It's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So I want to know if I've not seen it. Ron, I don't think you've seen it. Josh, you may have seen it. You dig deep into this. And prevention means boosting our own immune system. It means that we have, if you've come into contact with it, that you already have had it, and they're giving no credit to somebody who already has the antibodies from the actual disease. There's nothing that they're doing to prevent this. They're not all of the medicines that they wanted to use to make this go away a lot quicker with, I don't have to go through
Well, one
that,
of the things, Ray, that bothers me, even though Pfizer has, quote unquote, been approved, I remember a time, and I'm sure you do too, there was another drug called thalidomide that had been approved.
Right, and it went through 5 years of testing.
Yes, by the it wasn't the CDC, it was the
FDA?
What's the FDA,
Yeah.
the Federal Drug Administration. And I don't know if a lot of our younger people that are listening in, we had babies that were being born without hands, without feet. Do you recall those?
I do.
Those horrible images of a drug that had been
Formaldehyde, is that your thing?
thalidomide. Yeah.
Thalidomide, yeah.
And,
Children of formaldehyde.
and there were many children that were born severely handicapped. Thank God they lived. But to think about that was a drug that had been not only had been tested but given the green light to go ahead and use it. And there were numerous, I don't know how many children before they finally pulled it off the market.
Ron, all you have to do is watch late night TV and you see all the attorneys come on. If you've been exposed to this, if you've been exposed to that,
yeah.
if you've been exposed to this, if you've taken this drug, they knew what was going on, but they were still selling it. You hear that all the time on late night TV.
Yeah. Call this attorney. And that's what's going to happen here. There can be no question of that. But the bottom line, Josh, is one of the things that really torques me off is when you see young women that say, well, I'm going to have an abortion. I'm going to kill my unborn child because it's my body and it's my choice. But you don't have a choice as to whether you're going to take a vaccine or not. That's
Right.
ludicrous.
So my body, my choice is only for women, right?
Mhm.
And it has nothing to do with actual medical procedures that are outside the abortion topic.
Right. And by the way, the Department of Justice is powerless to the Texas law. So other states can continue to do what they're doing and pass similar legislation because, again, they don't have the jurisdiction. That's the thing. It's all about scare tactics here. But one thing that needs to happen when Republicans get back in power is we need to do what we need to do for Section 230 against big tech.
Yes.
We need to do that against the big pharma companies too, because right now they're not held financially and criminally liable for what they are doing. And again, you can look at the 1986 VAERS Act signed into law under Ronald Reagan, which was one of the worst things that he's done. Great president, but that was really bad. And what it did is it gave them immunity, basically, from any type of, criminal wrongdoing or financial wrongdoing, and you can't sue these companies. That needs to change. Republicans, if they were smart for 2022, they would run on that. That would be a winning combination of running on Section 230 repeal and running on getting rid of the immunity for the big pharma companies.
Josh, do you really think that they have the huevos to do that? Because I remember when
No,
we had,
of course not. I
we
mean,
had
if I was,
we had the House,
telling them
the
what to
Senate,
do
and the
all that,
presidency.
maybe.
They all ran on repeal and replace, and it gets in front of them, and the Maverick goes thumbs down on it. Paul Ryan doesn't push anything through. I mean, it's absurd because
Still votes.
every time the Democrats get in control, they will continue to chew and gnaw away to get as much as they can. They're going to try to get a lot, but even if they get a little bit, they're happy. We get back in, we run on, we're going to change this, and for some reason, it's a failure to launch every single time.
Yes.
It is. I mean, I remember the House Republicans, they did 40 or 45 show votes that they were going to repeal Obamacare. Remember back then?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then they get in and nothing. And it actually was President Trump that had to force the issue to get them to get rid of the individual mandate, which, again, they put into the tax cut bill.
And it was the late John McCain.
Yeah.
Was the vote.
Wonderful
The Maverick.
John McCain.
Yeah,
Sure.
Maverick, all right. I mean,
So do you think, so hopefully, and I don't know if this is possible, Josh, you probably know this a lot more, but if we here in the state of Arizona, where our attorney general places a lawsuit, and then we get a chain of other attorney generals from the other states, could it be a massive class action suit?
Absolutely, it could be. Well, right now I can tell you there's 27 lawsuits in the lower courts right now that are all about mandating vaccines. If the Supreme Court takes even one of those cases up to the court, they're going to make a decision, and once they make the decision that they need to make, all of this nonsense is going to go away. But what may end up happening here is what we may see what happened in the election, in which Texas started the ball rolling. They had another 26, 28 states, whatever it was, and then the Supreme Court was immediately forced to take the case. We may see the same thing unfold here with the vaccine mandates if 25, 26, 27 states automatically sign on together, and you may see the same type of situation in which they're not going to be able to punt and they're going to have to take this case. And I hope and pray that they make the right decision, because listen, this is not 1905 and Massachusetts versus Jacobson, okay? This is not smallpox. This is something that they're trying to mandate that already most scientists have said is absolutely terrible for you and could kill you. So there is a lot of discrepancy. This is not smallpox or the measles or something like that. This is completely different.
Josh, I want to change gears here. We have we have Pasta coming up here in about 10 minutes till the hour to talk about the California election yesterday. But you and I had spoken a little earlier in the day about that. Ray, I am just shocked at the people of California that they did not recall this governor, which means to me,
I believe they did.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I agree with Josh. I'm not sure because there were so many reports of people going in to vote, and they said, "Oh, you've already voted."
Right. Now,
Yes.
now, what did this mean though? What was it? Means that masks are okay for some. If you're the working class, the masks are okay, but they're not okay for Pelosi and Newsom and that group. They've been caught many times without wearing masks. It's
Right.
a victory for mandatory vaccines.
That's the first thing he said he was going to do.
Yes, it's a victory for continued forest fires in their state. It's a victory for homeless, having more and more homeless people. It goes on and
Water
on.
issues, brownouts,
Water.
blackouts.
Yes, all of that. And last night those people that were watching, and I saw this on Rumble, and maybe you have too, some more voting magic where numbers all of a sudden disappeared that were on the side of Larry Elder. Amazing. Neil, can you bring that up? Okay, the one on the left was the picture, and this was right on CNN, okay? You see the number there? 2,225,915. While you're watching that, all of a sudden, bingo, what happened, Ray? Look at that number. You tell us what it is.
Yeah, 1,874,206.
Okay, about 350,000 votes all of a sudden disappeared.
Now, here's something strange, is that at the top it says estimated percentage of votes was 52% on the left, and then that dropped as well. It
Yeah.
dropped to 49%.
Yeah.
So how did they count, and then all of a sudden it
They had
was less?
52% of the vote in early, and then it dropped down to 49%.
Because the machines are hooked up to the internet, number one, which we saw in 2020. And number two, they are probably counting the votes at Seidel, at Dominion, at Smartmatic, SGO, offshore in Spain or some other country, and they are manipulating the votes and then sending that information back to the networks, and then the networks are reporting it. But the thing is that CNN is so stupid that they actually allowed the votes to show being switched in real time. Now, I was thrown off of social media way back when because I was showing a video almost exactly like that. It was about the Kentucky governor's race between Andy Beshear and Matt Bevin. Matt Bevin won that race in Kentucky, clear he won that race, and they did the same exact thing. Except when I did the video and I showed it 3 or 4 times. I slowed it down. I had circles around it. So I was really making sure that everybody had a chance to see it. And within 2 weeks, I was gone from social media because 2 weeks later was the election, and we know what happened.
Wow.
I'd like to throw a little theory out here. We know the California is the most populous state. It's got over 40 million people in it. Did you realize that, and this is a huge number, 47% of California's population was not born in the United States. 47, that's about 19 million people were not born in the United States. Now, that's a fact. Okay, now I want to throw my theory out here. Now we open up the borders of the United States and we let 2 million, at least 2 million illegals are here now. And then we open up our hospitality to 100,000 people that we got out of Afghanistan that are not Americans, don't even have a sense of anything American because they've lived in a backwards country. And now we're bringing them into this country. And of course, they will be allowed to vote too. And we see what has happened with a state that have 47% of the people not being born here, and then bringing in another couple of million and populating red states. That's states that went Republican. Populating red states. Do you see a little bit of a plan here that might become more and more apparent in the next couple of years? Josh, what do you think?
they brought over all these Afghan refugees that are really Taliban members. You know, maybe some of them shaved their beards, maybe even some of them didn't. They didn't bring over women and children. They brought over able-bodied men in their, between 18 and 30. And yeah, you're right, because we're going to probably see another major terrorist attack pretty soon too, based on this horrible decision that just went down in Afghanistan as well. But yes, they want to then disperse these folks to the swing states or the red states because they want to make them more bluer. So no question about it. You are absolutely right on target.
And the thing that's so sad, we bring in all these people over here, and they're in some of our military bases. I understand they kind of have a free limit to just come and go. They can do pretty much what they want. We don't have enough food for them. They're still dressed in their garb from over there, and it doesn't look like we've got a handle on this. Josh, we're going to thank you. We're going to have to swing out here and go to California in just a moment.
No problem. My
thank
pleasure.
you so much. We miss you in the studio here.
Yes.
And we love that picture of you as the albino or Dr. Evil. And so we will
Dr.
see you
Evil,
again.
there you go.
We will see you again next week. Thank
You've
you
been
so much.
listening
God
to
bless.
Josh Bernstein from JoshBernsteinUncensored.com.
And more to come. Don't go away.
In a world where security matters more than ever, Lionheart Security Services stands head and shoulders above the competition. Whether it's airport security, high-rise residential and office security, event security, warehouse security, or even personal security, call the best of the best. Lionheart Security Services. We provide armed and unarmed officers. Our armed officers are held to the strictest standards of 90% accuracy, 20% higher than Arizona standards. When it comes to securing you, your goods, and services. Call Lionheart Security Services, 480-485-2304, or find them on the web at lionheartsecurityservices.com.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
Hey folks, Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb here. With the increase in private businesses and even government organizations talking about mandating the vaccine, I wanted to let you know that here at the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, we do not mandate the vaccine, and as long as I'm your sheriff, we will never mandate the vaccine. We believe that your health choices are yours and yours alone, so whether you get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine, that's your private information. Here, we believe in America and freedom, and we're going to continue on with that. God bless.
Hi, I'm Marta Llamas, and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
You're watching Fighting Back, news talk, current events, and political commentary with host Ron Lutters. Now back to the show.
Well, I'm Ron Lutters, and this is Ray Michaels.
Hello, everyone.
And welcome back. And listen, we have on the phone, we have Pasta from California. And
hey, how you doing, Uncle Ron, Cousin Ray?
Pasta from the Convo Couch. How are you?
We're sure glad to have you on the show, but we're not real happy with the results of your election. What have you guys been doing?
Well, don't talk too loudly because we're in the basement hiding from the vaccine mandates that are about to come.
Oh, man.
So I don't want anybody to know. You know, they're going to say, how'd you know I was here? You were on Hub Radio Phoenix, and they fingered you because you were hiding in the basement, because that is the first thing that Governor Newsom talked about when he had his little victory speech. You know, it was what did we vote for today? We voted for vaccines. We voted for science.
Yeah,
we voted for the environment.
Pasta, isn't it amazing how he took, you know, it said, we didn't get a no vote, we got a yes vote. You are saying yes to every single screw up that I've done the entire time I've been in office. You've said yes. Good job.
You like bad government here in California.
How was he able to turn that into yes for all of those things? I don't think that was. It was almost like a it was almost like he felt that he won again. All the
it was a mandate, right?
It was a squeak by. It's like, okay, I get to keep my job, but it wasn't an election.
Yeah,
I'm just flabbergasted, to be honest with you. I mean, I knew it was going to be a tough uphill battle, but I didn't think the margin of victory would be that large. What did you think, Pasta?
Well, you know me, I'm always on the record for number one. I'm never going to believe in our election system because it is a fraudulent, bad, terrible system that just needs, to be revamped, reformed, and rebuilt. There's no transparency whatsoever. And in fact, unlike Arizona and Georgia, where you are moving forward to make, put safeguards in your elections to make them more transparent, and we've moved the opposite direction. We have now, in other words, Johnny Tsunami, if you've seen his work, my partner, he always goes to the tabulation rooms. He always goes in there and shows the machines, whatnot. Well, now they've barred and banned cameras from going in the press area of the tabulation rooms in LA. I mean, why would they do that? Number two, they've also made it harder. There's some people from the EIPCA, which is the Election Integrity Project. They're actually conservatives, but very nonpartisan when it comes to election integrity. They do a lot of the data information on the poll booklets. Well, Alex Padilla, on his way out, has made it harder now for you to request information on the poll booklets to check and see if they are valid or not. You guys just had on Liz Harris, right? And she told you guys what she's doing, the way they're going door to door and canvassing and stuff.
Yes.
Well, can you imagine trying that here in LA? They go crazy. And they would never let it happen. They would arrest you probably, and they've made it harder to get the hold of that data. So they've actually given themselves more power, the establishment, the legislative body, and less checks and balances. And there are questions that, we need to ask now going into this whole situation, like the ballots, right? They mailed out ballots to everybody on the voter booklets. That's 22 million registered voters. Well, we're going to have about 17 million votes when it's all said and done. What happened to those other 5 million ballots that went out? Where did they go to? Did they go into the trash? Did they go into somebody's pocket? Because the drop boxes that we have everywhere, all over the place, there's no chain of custody there. There's no camera looking at them. So you have all these problems in the vote centers. You gentlemen talked about it. I want to know how many people went in there and told they already voted and they were forced into provisional ballots. We've had issues with provisional ballots when it came to the progressives in 2016 for Bernie Sanders, and also the tabulation machines. We've been promised that we would have an open source system, no longer proprietary software. Well, we haven't got it, and they haven't had meetings on it, so we don't know what is what. Like I said, gentlemen, we've moved backwards when it comes to our elections. With all that said, there is something I have to tell you. That is that the people here, the progressives especially, they're a little crazy, and they supported Gavin Newsom in this recall, which has been pretty disheartening to say the least. It has been just amazed that this guy has been awful on the environment, the way he misrepresented numbers on the forest prevention treatments he was supposed to do. He got caught red-handed. He said he was going to take care of 99,000 acres. Well, on the books, he took care of less than 12,000 acres.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
those are like pre-burns and making sure the areas are safe. He got caught with that. He got caught the homeless problem. It is now low numbers, 150,000 in the whole state. I think it's close to 200,000.
Oh, my.
It's a shame, Uncle Ron, Cousin Ray. When you drive around City Hall, homeless people everywhere, tents up everywhere. He was also supported by oligarchs. This guy was supported by the 6 most richest families in L.A., the Pritzkers, the Gettys. These people have made their money on real estate, who have thrown all these people on the streets. He's made their money on oil, all the things that the progressives are supposed to be against. And the last kicker of it all, guess what, Uncle Ron and Cousin Ray? This one you're going to love. According to Article 2 of Section 18 of the California Constitution, if Gavin beats the recall, he is thereby reimbursed for all the money spent from the state. So tax money that can be going to the homeless, that can be going to our Medicare system, that can be going to our education, will go right back into this oligarch puppet's pocket.
Now, does that include like all the ads that he did? Because he spent millions and millions of dollars where people were donating money. Does that get paid back as well?
I had heard that he spent almost $80 million.
All expenses are reimbursed, right?
Wow.
And here's the thing. You guys were talking about, the boop boop is what we call the jabby jab, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom, right? You know what I'm saying? He is pro, you know what. And all that money that's spent, that's going to now be kicked back to him. And now he's pushing this situation. This, to me, seems a lot more smellier. You know what I'm saying? Something smells rotten in Denmark over here. Like, this thing was almost set up because now it seems like they can go full force with Joe Biden's executive order plans. And now the state of California is touting, saying, see, look, this was the number one thing on the ballot. It was all about these mandates. The people want it. Let's go. Let's push forth with this. It smells fishy.
The nose knows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
Well, one of the things politically, Ray, is that you always take something that you wanted to promote, and if it goes through, even though other people might have been the ones that push it through, you always claim victory, that you're the one who did it. And I'm not sure this election was totally about the jab. You could go on and on and on, as Pasta has done here, and with the things that are wrong in California. Pasta, I'm going to ask you to put your thinking cap on. There was a day when I thought California was one of the absolute marvelous states economically, beautiful, took care of their natural resources, and like you talk about the forests. My gosh, I remember when I was much younger going over there and having some really good times in some beautiful forests. They're not there now. They've been burnt down.
Yeah.
When did all this start taking place? We had Ronald Reagan, for goodness sake, was a governor, and I can't believe all of a sudden he became a conservative when he became president of the United States. So there must have been something behind the scenes. I know you've had Republican senators out there, and you probably had a pretty mixed House of Representatives, probably about 50-50 Republican-Democrat. But now, when did all this start taking place, and how did it happen?
Well, I've been here for about close to 17, 18 years right now, and it has been slowly but surely moving to a supermajority Democratic Party over the last several years.
Well, 2-to-1 voter registration.
What's that?
2-to-1 voter registration, Democrat.
Yeah, 2-to-1 Democrat over Republican. And it's been moving that way for quite some time. The thing that's really crazy to me is now you look at Orange County. Orange County now is leaning more Democrat than it is Republican. Mm-hmm. So I really think it's a whole... It's all that mainstream media and that program for all over these years finally coming to fruition, and this is what we got. We are so beyond tribal, and especially in LA. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's team sports all the way. And I just think this is the whole work of the mainstream media, the deep state, the elites. We're involved with government like we've never seen before. I talked to you about it, Uncle Ron, right? We talk about the censorship and what we're going through. My mom, the same thing. They can't believe that we have this fascist censorship kind of mindset in the United States. And California is just one of those kind of states that is the uber left, the uber establishment, just sticking its ugly nose out for everybody to see.
Pasta, I read something today that the Assembly is voting on people who are out in the streets, and they want to make it so that it's no longer illegal if you're out in the streets, as long as it's for prostitution. Did you read this today?
No, I did not, because I know they've been tough on prostitution here in LA. As far as on the streets, they've been arresting a lot of people and claiming the slave law. What do you call that law that they're going after pimps and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they were making it hard, and even arresting a lot of poor people who were trying to pick up prostitutes in the streets of LA. Meanwhile, you got you can go up into the Hollywood Hills area, and you got pedophiles and rapists that just, they operate in Hollywood every day, and they get to walk free.
No, they said that if you're out on the streets and you're, as long as it's for prostitution, that you won't be arrested.
Jeez.
And I just, it's just.
Well, Ray, we had this thing. You've probably seen it with this defund the police stuff, and now they're saying, well, you can shoplift up to $1,000 without fear of arrest. And people are going into stores and just walking out with new clothing and food. It is amazing.
See, people say that we're a nation of immigrants. No, we are a nation of laws, and you have to follow the law, and you have to try to be the best person you can be and the best citizen that you can be. And our schools just aren't teaching this anymore.
Well, one thing we worry about here, Pasta, to be honest with you, is that we're going to see, and we have seen, a large influx of Californians. We don't mind taking the more conservative Californians.
No, you know what?
Here.
They can come in. They can come in, and they can live here as long as they don't vote.
Well, listen, there's one thing to be conservative, progressive, or liberal and stuff like that. But you know me, guys, I'm against team sports, period. To me, these two parties, they're an illusion. They're working together, the establishment, to make sure that they have the upper hands for all their donors and all their oligarchs while we fight each other. You know what I'm saying? So
we're not going to argue that. We were talking earlier about about the Republicans.
Well, that's why you're here,
and
that's why we're here to change this.
Yes.
And it's too bad we run out of time, Ron.
We are.
Pasta, it's always a pleasure.
We ran a little over, Pasta, but we wanted to make sure we got you in. We were talking earlier with Josh Bernstein about this General Milky and some of the things that have been going on there. And if you haven't talked about it on your show, those of you that are within shouting distance here, this is a Convo Couch, and you need to watch that. These are great people, and they talk a lot of things. We're not always on the same page, but we're honestly honest about how we feel.
That's right. Pasta, how do they get in touch with you at the Convo Couch?
Well, anybody can always hit us up at thecombocouch@gmail.com, but I encourage everybody right now to go to our Rockfin, ROKFIN. We just made a stack of 20 COVID-19 videos. Yes, there are leftists, the common sense left, people like us who have been pushing back against these mandates and what Big Pharma is doing. So we encourage everybody to go over there and to Rockfin and check out these videos. And also, I just want to leave you with one last thing, Uncle Ron and Cousin Ray. For this executive order, look into religious exemption to get away from getting this boo-boo, because the law states, and we're a land of laws, that you have a religious exemption if you feel that, you firmly believe it's against your belief to get this shot. So that's something that people should look into.
Great. Good information. Thanks so much.
Okay, we'll give our regards to your staff there,
yes.
And we'll be talking to you real soon. Thank you so much. Mr. DeSante, thank you for running the ship tonight. Sorry.
And don't forget, tomorrow night, we do have the Jay Lawrence Show right here on Hub Radio Phoenix.
And tune in. We've got a super guest. You're going to be, I'm not going to say who it is, because but you're going to really, really, really be impressed. We're going to break that news tomorrow. So stay tuned, and you're going to be amazed. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again.
Thanks so much, Pasta.
Monday.
Thanks, Uncle Ron, Cousin Ray. I'll see you soon.
handle the truth.